You and Chris are going to be in here talking about God knows what.
Oh, man. Good grief. Oh, man. And this is supposed to be a holiday episode. We're trying to do a Christmas special.
Yeehaw!
Yeah. 'Tis the season, I reckon.
It is.
'Twas the night before Christmas and all through the trailer. Anyhow.
All I need is a dip of skull.
Yeah.
You!
Folks, welcome to the Retro Show. My name is Butch Renfro, but that's not your problem. I am joined, as always, at the podcast table by my co-host and my friend, best man at my wedding, ladies and gentlemen.
Fred Trinkle. Chris Curtis.
Fred Trinkle. Fred Garvin, male prostitute.
Oh, my Lord.
Oh,
that's
my
a classic.
God. That is a classic SNL. Folks, welcome to the show. The topic of today, when we finally get around to it, is we are going to be talking about those fantastic holiday specials that we grew up on as kids.
You know, you said that, get around to it. My dad, when we had the family business downtown, he got some things in that said round to it on it.
Oh, the round to it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. He gave me some of those.
That was the greatest thing.
Yo, he
ever.
gave me, like when I was a guy, I'd probably have 3 of those from Jay Curtis. The round to it.
Oh, my gosh.
So when you get around to it,
yeah.
you know.
Dad thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, that was hilarious. So as ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Retro Show. This is a show that is an homage. It is a celebration of growing up in the 70s and 80s, much like Chris and I did. And
it's the podcast where you have to go get a dictionary for these large words like homage.
Homage, it is too. And are you an appropriate audience for the Retro Show? Let me just say, has a doctor told you may want to think about a colonoscopy now pretty soon, then maybe you would be a candidate as a potential audience member for the Retro Show. I'm just saying. You know.
We're old.
Yeah. I'm
feeling old.
We're not feeling old.
I don't act old, but I'm feeling old.
You know, sometimes I look in the mirror and I go, whoa, man, who's that old dude right there? But, yeah, it's me. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to get in touch with us, retroshow.net is the place you can go online. That has links to our Facebook page. It also has links to all of the places that you can listen to us. It has links to our radio station, our store, and how you can support the podcast. Yeah. I mean, wait, here comes one of those words. It has a plethora of information.
I'm getting a damn T-shirt made with all these big words on it.
That's what we need to do. That needs to be one in the store. Plethora,
vignette,
homage,
vignette. The big word of the week.
The big word of the week.
I love it.
What was the joke that I heard the other day that just said, I like to use big words in conversation because it makes me sound so photosynthesis. You know? Oh, man.
Break into the crib cycle.
Yeah. But, the topic for today's show, holiday specials, as I brought up earlier. And we have a lot of them to talk about.
I'm actually looking at the list here, and there's some really good
There's some really good ones there.
That are classics that I work in pediatrics, so I get to see a lot of these.
You get to see a lot of these because they probably air this time.
Oh, it's a classic.
Yeah, I've seen it 5,000 times. Well, you know, it's not my kids. Now, when my kids were young, because my kids are like 30 and older now.
Right.
But when they were growing up.
30? Really?
Yeah, Ryan's 30.
Jiminy crickets, man. Where does the time go?
Brad, are you about to be 35?
He's not in here.
Yes, he is. So, my oldest son's about to be 35. 35.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, let that sink in for a little bit there. But, there's a reason that...
It's not unusual to be loved by
anyone. I know. So, yes. But, my son is about to be 35, my oldest. And, Ryan is 30. So yeah, all of my
Unbelievable.
kids. I don't have kids in my 20s.
I don't know
in
why
their
that's a
20s.
surprise to me. My son's almost 20.
That's true.
So, I mean,
And you got started a lot later.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. We were seeing the world.
Yeah. So, you know, and here's the thing is that I think there are pros and cons to having your kids early as opposed to later. I think probably you had a better head on your shoulders when they were young.
Oh, when you had kids, I was in no shape to have kids.
Yeah.
I mean, really,
Well-
maturity level, I was not there. There's no way.
I don't know if I was either. It's just that
Yeah,
we had support.
Butch, there's a lot. There's
had
a lot of
support.
difference between me and you.
That's true. That's true.
You are usually my voice of reason. Chris, you might want to think about what you're fixing to do.
Dude, if I'm your voice of reason, you need to find a better reason. That's all I'm saying.
You and the twins, man. Y'all have kept me out of some dumbass moves. That's probably not a good idea, man.
I don't know, man. There were a couple of times where you would come up with an idea and go, that's a great idea. That's a real good idea.
What if we put this giant rocket engine in this little bitty rocket?
What if we light this on fire?
Yeah.
What'll happen if we light this on fire?
What's gonna happen?
I know.
We never did find that rocket either.
We never did find it. Where'd he go? I don't know. He never came back down.
It left in a hurry.
It's in orbit right now.
Oh wow!
But yeah, glorious results of a misspent youth.
Yeah,
ladies and
you were
gentlemen.
the only person I knew that did that, and I thought it was so cool.
Oh man, model rockets.
It was
I
fun.
really
I
got
mean, it
into
really
that for a
was.
while. Like seventh, 8th grade, I really got into doing model rockets.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun, man. I think even I did that a little bit. I used Bradley being a kid as an excuse
Right.
to get another model rocket
An
kit.
interesting side note to putting the giant engine in the small rocket
Yeah.
was putting the small engine in the giant rocket. We reversed that.
Yeah,
stuff.
it went up about 20 feet.
The parachute popped up.
The parachute popped out. And just,
Yeah, we catch
it didn't
this
even
one.
have time to come open.
It's
It just
right
went,
here.
yeah. I had to walk like 20 feet to get that one, you know.
Golly. I know we sound like nerds, but we had a lot of
Oh,
fun.
it's because we are.
We had a lot of fun.
We had a lot of fun. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go away for a little bit. But don't you worry, because when we come back, we're going to come back talking about holiday Christmas specials that we grew up on here on The Retro Show. Hey, Chris, guess what?
What?
Hey, guess what? We got producers on this show, and it's time to give them the big
no.
shout out. So
You
go ahead.
guys are awesome. I'm just saying.
Yep. So get us kicked off here. Who's first on the list?
LNC Corporation.
You don't cross the
No,
LNC
not ever.
Corporation. Never, never, ever. Next on the list, Kevin Goff. Thank you, Mr. Goff.
Golf, thanks, man.
And then, of course,
Norton.
Chris B.
Chris
from
B.
Out east. Thank you, Chris. Also, Nancy Schwartz.
Nancy Schwartz.
Thank you very much, Nancy. Joshua Ramsey. Big Joshua Ramsey.
Big J.
Man, it's a great. That would be a good wrestling name.
Well, not only that, man, it'd be a good cowboy name.
Yeah, Josh Ramsey. That's right. You don't cross Josh Ramsey either. All right, who's
Fran-
next on the list?
Fran
Adams. Fran Adams. EM, just the initials, man. That's all we get on that. EM.
But thank you. Thank you.
And then, of course,
Bradford, the Behemoth, Mason.
Bradford Brad. And then our very first producer ever,
Number one in our hearts.
Tanya Highland.
Thank you,
And
Tanya.
if you would like to also be a producer for just $3 a month, it's very easy to do. Go to retroshow.net and you can find more information about how you can support our podcast.
But you went over the side of the cliff.
Didn't I ever tell you about Bumbles? Bumbles bounce!
Chris, we're back.
Hello, baby.
Hello. How y'all doing?
Hello, darling.
Hello, darling. How you doing? It's been a long... Never mind.
Oh, get onto it. Get in. I'm big start swaying over here.
Start swaying. That's right. But we had... so here's the difference of the holiday specials. I had all of these for my kids on VHS tape where they could literally watch them over and over again. But for us, it was different.
It was.
They came on once a year.
Right.
It was appointment television. We didn't have VCRs yet. And you made sure you were there to see these holiday specials, which made them special.
It was also, these came out after the time change. After the time change, and it got dark at like 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
There wasn't nothing else to do. So,
and plus, it was they had stuff for kids in prime time.
Right.
That was the thing that made it special, and the fact that it was Christmas, which as a kid, I'm going to tell you right now, my absolute favorite time of the year as a kid.
Christmas time.
Christmas time.
Yeah. I know we may have mentioned this before, but like the Sears catalog, JCPenney catalog.
That is coming up on a show, and we're going to be talking about that. And that is the fact that when these things came out, the only time my sister and I really got into knockdown dragouts, and she was 7 years older than me, was who got the catalog first. And
you had to circle what you wanted, and you kind of rate it. This is number one.
Yeah, this is what I really want.
Yeah.
Now I'd like to have that too. It
was so much fun.
It was great. It was and you can't explain what it was like because we didn't have internet.
No, man,
and nothing like that.
Instantaneous information.
Yeah,
that didn't happen.
And so you would go through there to see what toys were out there.
Yeah.
Besides the fact of what you saw on Saturday mornings and stuff that they would advertise as well. But, you would find these toys and you would say, I want this, this, and this. And even when I got to like 12, 13 years old, you would go to the other part and go, I'd like to have the stereo, and things like that.
Right.
So you still looked forward to the Christmas catalog coming out.
It's kind of sad that those stores like that have gone away.
Service Merchandise, Montgomery Ward. What else am I missing? Sears,
JCPenney.
I
mean, JCPenney's still around, but it's not.
It's not like it was. No.
For sure.
No. Kmart, we used to go to Kmart.
And we didn't have Target here, though.
No, it didn't have Target here until later. It was Kmart or Walmart. And at the time, Kmart was bigger than Walmart.
It was. I mean, Walmart was in its infancy.
Yeah, it was still growing. And then they became the 800-pound gorilla.
Good Lord.
But these specials would come on. And you would get the TV guide or the TV magazine that came with your local newspaper on Sunday, and you would sit there and you'd say, okay, this is what day this Christmas show comes on. You would keep track of that.
So let me explain to y'all that don't know what he's talking about. In the newspaper, you would get kind of a TV guide. Mm-hmm. There was a publication called TV Guide that I never really understood.
But give me that little grid from the TV and I can follow that.
The one from the newspaper was awesome, and it did every night what was coming on and what, you could look and see what you wanted to be home for and what you didn't really care about.
So most of the ones that we loved as kids, I'm saying that I loved anyway, on this list that I have here, were made by Rankin Bass.
Is it? I mean, was that the claymation type?
They did the claymation type. They also did some some animated ones too, like you had Frosty the Snowman. That was Rankin Bass.
Really?
Yeah. So
interesting.
The only matter of fact, I'm looking at our list here. I think the only one on our list that's not Rankin Bass, so only two, are a Charlie Brown Christmas and Frosty the Snowman. No, Frosty is. What's it? A Grinch that stole Chris. How the Grinch Stole Christmas and Charlie Brown Christmas. I'm sorry, are the only two that aren't.
I don't see Dr. Seuss letting that go.
No, but looking over this list here, I'll start with some of the ones that maybe are kind of what I'd call second tier there. Do you remember the one that this came out in '74? It's called "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," and it was an animated one with the little mice.
To be honest with you,
Yeah.
probably need more information. If I saw it, I'd probably go, I remember
you know
this,
what
but I don't.
Well, it's these two little mice, and it's this little mouse family, and they're trying to get Santa Claus to come because they
want some
messed
cheese.
up. They want some cheese or something. And then you have things like Santa Claus is coming to town. Now that was a Rankin Bass, and that was Mickey Rooney who voiced Kris Kringle in that. And so it's kind of the origin of Santa Claus. You also had Fred Astaire in there. He had the dancing mailman. And then they had the Burgermeister. Meisterburger, who said we couldn't have any more toys in the town.
Foot in front of the other, and soon you'll be walking across the floor.
This was the Rankin Bass. They definitely made the best specials.
They did.
I didn't know that was one company that did all of those. It kind of makes sense when you look at them.
When you look at them, because they're
all
kind of similar
the same.
looking.
They're awesome.
Rankin Bass also did a Little Drummer Boy, which I remember airing a few times. And here's what I like about that one, is that's kind of the one on there that like gives you the actual Christmas story, is the Little Drummer Boy. So that kind of holds a special place in my heart. I really like the Little Drummer Boy. I think it's really good. Other Rankin Bass that's on there, A Year Without a Santa Claus. Mickey Rooney voiced Santa again. And then that's when you got the Heat Miser and the Snow Miser in that one.
I'm Mr. Heat Miser.
Yeah, I love
I'm
that.
Mr. Sunshine.
He's Mr. Green Christmas, he's Mr. Sun.
Which is probably the most memorable part of that one is Heat Miser and Snow Miser,
Yeah.
And so, Heat Miser, Snow Miser. But then you have one of my favorites that I loved every year, which was Frosty the Snowman.
Yeah.
Also Rankin Bass, but that was hand-drawn animation. That was 1969 when that came out.
That's crazy.
And look at the dates on some of these. Right?
I did.
And a lot of them were. Most of these were done in the 60s and early to mid 70s. In here, there's nothing really on my list that was produced past like 1976.
They didn't have to. They had them all.
They had them all, and
they still play them today.
Yes, they still play them today. And except for a Charlie Brown Christmas, you're not going to see that on network TV this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because Apple owns it now, or they got the rights to the streaming. So you have to get their streaming service to watch that.
Perfect.
Yeah, perfect, right? Yeah, kind of makes me mad too. So Apple, you need to share that back out to network TV and let them do that. Actually, PBS aired it like a couple of years ago. We got the rights to air that, even though Apple had the rights, they let us air. Like 2 years ago, we were able to do that, but they did not extend that this year.
Of course they didn't.
With the Peanuts Christmas special, which to me, I'm just going to tell you, I think it's my favorite one.
Really?
Yeah.
I like the Peanuts a lot.
Yeah.
But not my favorite. My favorite's right below it.
And that's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And they are right there 1 and 2 with me.
Yukon Cornelius is
Nothing.
He did it for me.
Yeah. You got Burl Ives as the snowman.
I want to be a dentist.
I want to be a dentist. It's fantastic. And then, Yukon Cornelius, all of those on there. Also, that's not on the list, that was a sequel to this, was Rudolph's Shiny New Year.
I have seen that.
Yeah. And so, they kind of got that off. Brad, what's your favorite out of all of these? Come on over. So, tell us, what's your favorite of the old school holiday specials?
I'd probably say How the Grinch Stole Christmas, because I'm a Universal horror fan and I love Boris Karloff's voice.
Yeah. Boris Karloff, actually, you're right, was the voice behind that. And Chuck Jones, who did a lot of the fantastic Looney Tunes, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck cartoons.
That was Mel Blanc, though, who did the voices, right?
Well, yes, it did the voices, but he animated it.
Oh.
So if you look at it, you can absolutely see
he
that
just
animation.
said voice.
Yeah. Well, Boris Karloff, did a lot of the voice on this.
You can't do that to me,
here's
man.
another one right here. You know the song "You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch"?
Yes.
Do you know who sung that? Thurl Ravenscroft, which, by the way, that's the most metal name ever, is Thurl Ravenscroft.
He's also the voice of Tony the Tiger.
Voice of Tony the Tiger.
I'm still
They're great, you know.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and so he's the one that's saying, "You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch."
Mr. Grinch.
You know, and so, yeah, that one's way up there on my
but
favorite
that never
list.
tops. I'm Mr. Heat Miser. I'm Mr.
Yeah.
Sun. Dun-dun-dun-dun.
Yeah, that's definitely one of my favorites. Now, here's the one that my sons dread coming on television, and we talked about this before, and that is Santa Claus Coming to Town. Because there's a song they do on there where they basically are saying, "Put one foot in front of the other." And I actually have to get up and do the dance.
And soon
And they
you'll be
just-
moving right along.
Yeah, and they can't stand it. They can't stand it because they don't understand that I add so much
You do.
to that.
I mean, you're working hard.
I'm working to try to entertain them, and they just don't. Son, why don't you appreciate me on that? I'm just saying.
It's not funny.
It's you're right. It's not funny. It's freaking hilarious. Thank you very much. So
Out of the
anytime-
mouth of babes.
That's right.
The man's 34,
Sorry,
but
but
he's
you
still a
remember
babe.
when he was born. But yeah, Santa Claus is coming to town. I do that every time it's on, and they will literally stop the video if
Dad,
I'm in the
please
room. Don't, Dad, stop.
The only thing better is if you had on some Bermuda shorts and some black socks.
And you're assuming that I didn't. You're assuming that I did not have on Bermuda shorts and black shirts. So, I don't know why you would assume that. Another one that's on the list here, I don't know this one as well. It came out in 1976, but it was Frosty's Winter Wonderland. It's a sequel to Frosty the Snowman. Andy Griffith narrates this one. And
I'll be real honest with you, man. Frosty's not one of my favorite characters.
yeah, really?
He's just not. I mean, I don't know why. It wasn't like the top of my list growing up. Like Rudolph, How the Grinch, Santa Claus Coming to Town, the Little Drummer Boy,
Yeah.
Year Without Santa Claus. Those movies, or those, what I'll call them, they're not movies, shows.
Yeah.
They were all very, very special.
Yeah,
Didn't
they
want
were.
to miss those. But
You
if
didn't
I
wanna
missed
miss 'em.
Frosty, I was okay.
You were okay with it? Yeah.
If I missed one of these others, I was kind of upset.
As I pointed out,
because it only come on once a year.
yes, and if you missed it,
It was you
you had
missed
to wait
it.
till next year.
That's right.
And here's what I think that who had sewn it up on the specials, and I brought this up before on a previous podcast, and that's Charlie Brown.
Oh yeah,
Because you started off with It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
right.
Okay. You kick off with a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, and then you round it out with a Charlie Brown Christmas. So they had, here's the word. You ready for the big word? The triumvirate.
The triumvirate.
The triumvirate
Yeah,
of
that's good.
The
Do you know? Just throwing it out there during the holiday season. What other movie came on every year?
I know.
There's one that we have not mentioned, but it comes on in the holiday season every year, or used to, when we were kids especially.
Are you talking about It's a Wonderful Life?
No,
What's that?
The Wizard of Oz.
The Wizard of Oz. They would show that every year.
That one and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And they quit doing that after a while. But
did.
yeah, they used to show Chitty Chitty Bang Bang almost every year around
That
the
was
holiday
kind of a
season.
scary flick, man.
It kind of was. Yeah. Kind of weird, man. when you get it.
Some dudes kidnapping all the kids, and it was kind of
Yeah, it was kind of spooky.
But The Wizard of Oz is a classic,
Oh, yeah.
and I love it. I do. Have you ever done the whole Pink Floyd thing?
No.
Dark Side of the Moon thing? There's you can do it on YouTube. They do it for you.
Yeah.
They cue it when it's supposed to. And I saw that, and I want to watch it though. I want to see if that.
You want to see if it actually does queue up with it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But anyway, man, so if I'm going to rank my top three, okay, this is hard out of this one here.
Get it, girl.
I'm going to say my number one's going to be A Charlie Brown Christmas.
Okay.
Number two is going to be Rudolph, followed by How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Really?
Yeah. Even with all those other great Rankin Bass.
I'm going 3-1.
Yeah.
And number 3 is The Year Without Santa Claus.
Yeah, good one.
Charlie Brown Christmas.
Right.
And then Rudolph.
Rudolph.
Rudolph is absolutely my favorite.
Rudolph is fantastic. I mean, it's really hard to pick it up. Here's what I like about
silver, copper.
nothing. A Charlie Brown Christmas to me is so good because of Linus's little speech at the end.
It's excellent.
Yeah, and to me that kind of, I don't know, it just puts it up to number one on that. But yeah, Rudolph, solid number 2 for me. Yukon Cornelius, a big reason.
Yeah.
Bumbles bounce, so many great lines in that.
You get to go to the Isle of Misfit Toys, too.
The Isle of Misfit Toys. Nobody wants what was that, a Charlie in a box? But yeah, they had the Charlie in a box there. They had the train with the round wheels and stuff like that.
There's one that has come out in the past 10, 15, 20 years, whatever it is. But what is the one where Tom Hanks is the conductor?
Brad, what?
Polar Express.
The Polar Express.
That's
yeah.
a really, really good Christmas
That
movie.
is a good Christmas movie. I actually saw that a little bit later because that came out when my kids were a little older. So
I haven't really ever sat down and watched it at the house, but of course, again, I work in pediatrics, so
it airs.
I see all kinds of stuff at work where they're playing it for the kids or whatever, and I've watched most of that movie over the past 16 years.
I bet you have.
And it's
parts.
good, man, and the animation's good. I really liked it.
It is. It's really cool animation.
A cool story.
Yeah. But the other holiday special, and this is not on this list here, but I remember back in the 70s, you would have variety specials.
Right.
So Glenn Campbell would have a
Right.
Christmas special. Dean Martin would have a Christmas special. Andy Williams would have a Christmas special. And, those were kind of cool, too, because you never saw them after the year that they aired because, they aired in one year. They were meant for that year. These, while the kids specials would come on year after year.
Yep.
But yeah, they always had these cool holiday specials every year. And I remember the ads also, the commercials from back in the day. And I remember, was it the Norelco one where he's on the little electric shaver? Santa Claus is like driving this electric shaver. And I know that sounds weird, but it happened.
I forgot all about that. Yeah.
Yeah, please tell me I'm not in some,
No, you've seen
wild haze there.
You could go back to commercials. There's some classic commercials just like that. You said that and immediately popped in my head. Plop, plop.
Fizz, fizz. Oh, what a relief it is.
I mean, yeah.
I can't believe I ate the whole thing. Yeah. It's shake and bake, and I helped. Yeah. So many classic commercials, which is another show. But
that is a whole nother show.
That's a whole nother show right there. Brad, what's your favorite of these holiday shows? Not Santa Claus Conquers the Martians.
He already said that. How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
It's the Grinch. Did you say that already?
Yes, I explained.
Oh, he did explain that.
The wild, wild world of sports is going on around
I don't know, but yeah, but here's the takeaway you people need to have. My sons do not watch Santa Claus is Coming to Town with me. Is it that one or is it? Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
They won't watch that with me because
what a classic, Brad.
of
Come
one
on,
foot
man.
in front of the other. Because I have to get up and do the 1 foot in front of the other dance like the Meisterburger, or whoever that was, or the Winter Warlock, or whoever it was that does that. So yeah,
fantastic
on that. But yes, we need to do another episode, and I think we will real soon, about just best holiday Christmas movies. And I think that might be coming up real soon.
Didn't we just do that?
No, we did one movie. A Christmas Story.
Oh, you're not talking about kids show.
No, I'm talking about
Gotcha.
overall
Okay.
Christmas movies.
What?
We need it.
What? What the
Are you
hell?
having a stroke? Are you like smelling almonds right now? What's going on with you, man?
We have gone off the rails
We've
here,
gone
folks.
off the rails, people.
We need one of those test patterns to pop up.
After a shot of Thorazine, he's fine. But ladies and gentlemen, yes, this is if you want to find out more about the Retro Show, retroshow.net is where you go to find out all the stuff that you want to find out.
They can call us too.
They can. Chris, give them that number.
501-697-9933.
One more time.
501-697-9933.
Dang right.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to us. It means more than you know that you listen to this tomfoolery
Absolutely.
and stuff. Listen, you guys go out and make your day.
AMF, guys.